Andy? Hey, Andy, can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear?
Andy, how are
Ah, there we go. Doing well. How's it going? Am I live?
you? Are live, and I'm going to post
Ah,
the link to join so that folks can join us in a few minutes. But we'll just be, yeah, I'll just give you a few minutes to get ready.
okay, awesome. Yeah, I was doing a couple little touch-ups, small ones. But yeah, cool. I shortened the presentation after going through it yesterday. Oh,
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing your time
no,
once again.
thank you.
And looking forward to this. I'm actually curious how many people will be able to call in, considering it's during the day. And I
Hmm.
imagine many people who work, I know I've done this before where I sign up with excitement for something and then the day's routine sort of gets in the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's okay. Those who want to attend will, and it will be online later, so it's not.
Mhm. Hey Carlos, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Whoa, whoa, that's really loud.
That
Haha.
was really loud. Hey,
Hey,
Andy,
do we have a hashtag for this event? So we could for online or
uh, we don't. Would you like to suggest one? I can tweet something out real quick. How about the persuasive design, right? With
hang out with Andy. I don't know
Andy.
what else or persuasive. Yeah.
Okay, let me do that.
Okay, I have to turn off my notifications.
All right.
I just have to turn off my notifications real quickly. I didn't realize that they were going to cause issues. Um, notifications now. What time is it? I'll just say from now, 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. There we go. Okay. Hi, I see you guys. This is funny, but there's one person to the left who looks familiar. How's it going? I know him. How are you? Good. Okay, are you guys ready to get started, David?
Let's give it one more minute and then let's kick things off.
Okay, and can you send me the link? You have the live link right here. I can send out a quick tweet also.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I just sent out a tweet, but I think I actually included Cascade SF rather than you.
oh,
So,
yeah, I manage that I don't manage it as much as I used to. I have someone who does it for me. So,
okay.
join me. Okay, guys, we're gonna collaboratively write this tweet together. Join me for help me out here. Um,
My hashtag was persuasive design.
okay, I think that's fine. That's fine. But you tweeted to @CascadeSF.
And I called you out, but not your
Oh, that's
not
okay.
your
That's all right.
Twitter, just Andy.
Yeah. Hey, hey guys, I'm on Google Hangout. I'm on a live Hangout. Hey guys, I'm on a live Hangout about to give a talk about persuading people with design. Join me here. Watch here. All right. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but
Yep. Sounds good.
and welcome to my room, everybody.
So, in the interest of time, Andy, I'll kick this off. Looks like we've got a few viewers, so I'll start with the quick public service announcement that for those who are now viewing and simply viewing, you can actually join this call live and interact directly with Andy during the Q&A session at the end by clicking on the link that we just posted here in the chat as well as on the Google Events. So if you refresh, you should see a link that you can click to join. And with that, I will make a quick introduction about Andi. I met Andi when she spoke at one of the JavaScript conferences a couple months back. I think it was the Forward.js. But I'd known about Andi because I had spoken with her online, knew her as the organizer of Cascade SF, and she is also a fairly well-known designer, speaker in our area. And so I'm very pleased that she's going to share some of her expertise with us. And following her presentation, I hope you'll take advantage of this opportunity to learn by asking her questions about her presentation or questions you have in general. So with that, Andi, can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely. Thank you for the lovely intro. Woohoo! Thanks. If everybody doesn't mind, those who are on the actual Hangout, just make sure that we will have time for Q&A after the demo. But for right now, if everybody can put their mics on mute, just to make sure there aren't like outside distractions. Okay, so just give me a quick sec. I'm going to share my screen, and today you're going to learn how to persuade and engage people with design. And wait, actually, really quickly, we're going to unmute for a second. I would like to know, or maybe type in the chat window, what everybody does here is, who is a project manager? Are you, and your roles? Could you guys type in on the chat window what your roles are and your jobs are? They see that? Oh, not really getting much of a response. Okay, well, just to give me a better idea of who I'm communicating to, so I can make sure to stay on point. Okay, there we go. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Anyone else? Laura, are you an entrepreneur, a designer, a developer? What do you do specifically? Ah, awesome. Okay, so we have a lot of project managers. All of you guys are kind of in the management role in some way or another, which involves, it's great because actually this is kind of relative to everything. Woo, we got some kind of weird screen that just showed up. Can you guys can all see my screen, right? All of these principles that we're going to discuss today are about cannot just be applied to designing. It's pretty much everyday life, and persuading somebody and engaging people, getting people's attention and keeping their attention involves certain techniques and certain ways of communicating with them, and those are the things that I'm about to go over with you guys. Now, before I do so, first I got to share my screen and figure out which one that I want to share. I'll go with this one just to be safe, and go into play mode. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And just so you guys can see all that, right? On the screen? Everybody's on mute, so I don't know.
Yep.
Somebody
It's your
unmute?
screen.
Okay, okay, great. And you don't see the presenter's notes, right?
Correct.
Okay, okay, great. All right, so welcome. Today we're going to talk about designing to persuade and engage. My name is Andi Galpern. I'm the founder of Cascade SF. We're a web design organization based out of San Francisco Bay Area, and our goal is to teach the latest tips, tricks, and techniques in web design. Now, for about 8+ years, maybe 9 years now, I worked as a designer. I started off in advertising design. Even at 15 years old, I actually did an internship at an ad agency and always had a thing for marketing and advertising, used to write jingles and all that. And as I ended up moving to San Francisco, got really big into web design, UI design, front end. I did a lot of CSS, HTML, worked inside of Rails views, and have done pretty much every role from like a visual designer, main marketing designer, branding an entire company, or being like the backup support, mock-up and WordPress, like HTML and CSS. So that's just to give you a background of where I come from. A quick plug. Right, I got the wrong screen. There we go. Just a quick plug. On November 19th at Eventbrite, we're going to have Sahil Lavingia is going to be speaking about how to transition from being a designer to a design founder. So if you guys want any more info on that. Okay, so what I'd like to do is describe a certain type of personality to you guys and kind of see if this sounds familiar. This person never wants to wait in a line to get the groceries. They're pumping the gas never goes fast enough. Like everything has to move quicker. They can't wait for you to finish what you say. They have to, they keep jumping to conclusions and always like assume what you're going to say, but kind of cut you off because they don't have patience for it. This type of person is called an impatient personality trait. Basically, they're like, life is so short, time is running out, I've wasted too much time already, I've got to get through every task as quick as possible, no time for distractions, no time for failing, no time for anything. It's like, I'm late, or all the time. They don't have enough time. So we're going to talk about 3 different personality traits and how to keep their attention and how to persuade them. And the first one we already went over and started is called impatience, and it's the kind of person who's irritable, who's restless, who doesn't feel like anything is done, anything is like quick enough for them. So some traits of an impatient personality: we have they move very quickly, they have a sense of urgency, they're restless, they won't try the demo. They just want to like be able to use it already, and they won't read the documentation. They want to jump in and play with the keyboard instead of reading of all the features and abilities that it's able to do. They're anxious. So how do we approach an impatient personality type? One thing is just making things very clear and very easy to compare pricing. Get them the information as clearly and as quickly as possible. So an example that's used a lot is pricing charts. You can see they want to draw you to the $16 a month because that's the average one, but they draw you in and show you very clearly what the benefits are. And they show you in a very non-BS way of how, this is what you get, and these are the facts, this is it. So it's a visual solution to get somebody information as fast as possible. Impatient people do not want their time wasted. Designing like clear, simple pricing charts is a way to not waste their time, to make it very, very quick to get information to them. Loss aversion. Impatient people don't want to feel like they're going to miss out on something. Eventbrite does a good job of this. If you're going to buy a ticket for an event, you have 15 minutes, and they have a timer going on. And after 15 minutes, they'll give away the ticket to someone else. Shoe Dazzle did this. This is a video clip, a screen flow shot. So basically, you have 75% off any item, and the offer ends in 55 minutes. If you're gonna miss out, and you might miss like a $10 pair of shoes that would normally cost you 75%, $40 or whatever. So that is the ability. It's persuading them by the they're fearing that they're going to lose out on something. Now, also, a lot of people know about this tactic, which is scarcity. When it seems like something is less available, then it seems more valuable. And an example here, even if the star ratings are pretty low for this iPhone 6 on Amazon, only one left in stock, order soon. That's going to encourage us, oh my gosh, I better get it, otherwise I'm going to miss out. That's really common, but wait, we only have two left, so order fast so you don't miss out. That's a way to try to persuade somebody who's impatient and impulsive. Okay, so it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. Think about a site kind of like Kickstarter or a site like Amazon where you're going through a checkout process and oh man, I got to enter in my credit card, I got to enter in my address info, I have to do all this stuff. And if there's not some kind of system that makes you feel like you're accomplishing something and checking off, moving forward towards a goal, it feels like it's never going anywhere. So to keep an impatient person's attention, you want to show progress with breadcrumbs. And Kickstarter does a very good job at this. They have different sections, and each time that you complete a section, you'll get a little check. So when it's all completed, you feel like you're accomplishing something. Even if you have 2 checks, it's that sense of like validation and emotional, it creates like a positive emotional connection that, hey, you're doing a good job, you're moving towards finishing, you're accomplishing something. Example, does a really excellent job of allowing you to see all the different features and options for the iPhone 6, and you can pick if it's a 4.7-inch display, or you can somehow, maybe you want the iPad mini, which is the iPhone 6 Plus, and you get that. But this all updates in real time on the bottom of the screen, which I can't see right here. It will update the actual price. So any features that you add onto here, it will update in real time and make it really, really simple of what your options are and how much it's going to cost. Keep everything as simple as possible. Another company that does this, before we move on to the next personality trait, House. This is an interior decorating, interior design website, and it makes it really easy to understand what the product features are. Now, House is awesome because, one, you can get inspiration for your apartment, for your living environment, for your work, but you can also bookmark this inspiration. So what it does is, when you go to click on this, you can actually save it. So it's kind of like, has some features similar to Pinterest. And you can, so the idea of this site right here is that you're not just getting them to purchase and check out, you're actually you're educating them and giving them content. So even if they're not going to buy something from your site, they can get inspired and get ideas for decorating. But the beautiful thing about that is, because there's an endless feedback loop of ideas and inspiration, on the right-hand side here, we have actually all the dimensions, and they have an add to cart option. So the site is both helping you find ideas for interior decorating, and then they're giving you a really simplified shopping experience so you can purchase immediately from them. It's kind of brilliant. And here we go. Yeah. All right. So moving forward, I was going to show you guys this really quickly. Another thing is to show similar products that are that they maybe if you don't like this, or if you like this, then you might like this, because maybe they're looking for a few different types of pillows or whatever. But if you constantly want to keep them into a feedback loop of like, try to keep them on your site with good content and good information. And always another way is to show a preview of the product. Here's an example, Google Chrome extensions. Since I'm a design snob, I kind of judge the product by the screenshot, unless, you know, I'll go in and try it, and if it sucks in usability and it's not a good product, then I'll delete it. But if it's not well designed, likely I won't want to use it. But for example, Google Chrome extensions, they give you screenshots, they persuade you by saying, hey, one, they have all the testimonials, so you can see, I don't know if my cursor is here. So on the you can see the star ratings, you can see what people think about it, so that's persuasive, but also they show you like a visual example of what you're going to be using. And the App Store also does this. They give you screenshots of what the app looks like, and that's their way of persuading you. And they even tell you what the current version is versus all versions. Try to give as much social proof as possible. So that was the impatient personality type, and normally I would ask all the questions, but we're going to go through this whole thing and then I'll ask questions at the end. But the next personality type we're going to go over is called the skeptic. Skeptical person. I'm sure all of us know this type of person. They question everything. They doubt all accepted opinions. What are other traits of skeptic people? They find unforeseen problems. They investigate everything. They don't accept things at face value. They don't trust easily. They're very argumentative, and a lot of the times they just need to experience things for themselves. By the way, if you guys have questions that come up while I'm going through this, you can always tweet to me at Andi Galpern, ANDIGALPERN. I'm happy to look at the questions after the talk and be able to help you guys out. So, in order to persuade a skeptic person, somebody who's going to question everything, we want to get them all the facts up front. It's like an attorney. You don't just like write them a letter. You have to get them the bullet points and as quick and as fast as possible, because you cannot waste their time. And a really good example of getting the facts up front, and they do a great job selling their product, is Square. The day we started using Square, our tips went up 100%. That's pretty cool. Just by using the app, they started getting tips. And they're very clear on 2.75% per order. What is the percentage rate? There's not a lot hidden. So make it very clear what the facts are. Skeptics are untrusting by default, but how are we going to build trust? We have to make it seem like they have nothing to lose. And a company that does this very well is Zappos. They send, if you purchase something, you get free shippings and free returns. So they'll give you a full refund, and you send it back in the original packaging, and they will provide the postage and take care of everything for you. You just, they make it really easy to change your mind and send the product back if it doesn't work. So it doesn't feel like a lot of risk. Another way for skeptics is to explain how a product is made. Warby Parker does this really well. Although I'm still a little bit skeptical and trying to understand where their actual glasses are made. But 5 pairs, 5 days, 100% free. You really don't have a risk if you get to just try on glasses from a hip brand. Pick out 5 frames you like to try on, and we'll ship them to you for free. No risk. You have nothing to lose. And Warby Parker also explains how are their frames made. Basically, they go through this little chart on their site. This is good for like landing marketing pages for commerce. Inspiration. Our in-house design team gathers inspiration from around the globe. Perspiration. Each frame is designed in-house. Where is in-house is what I'm wondering. Innovation. Our designers cook up custom pattern variations and features like never seen, whatever. So the idea is that they persuade you that it's a good quality product by showing you the hard work that goes into creating it. Another way for the skeptic type, we want to make them feel secure. And we could do that by, well, Tesla does a great job by giving you an infinite mile warranty. Well, I don't know if that means if we look at the smaller print, 8-year infinite mile warranty, that's not infinite, but because, I'm being a skeptic right here, but it shows that this company is going to make sure that this car is going to work no matter how many miles that I drive within 8 years, which seems like a pretty decent deal. Okay, and then another big thing, really good design tactic is the power of choice for a skeptic. You want to make everything seem like it's their idea, or like I have the choice, like they have the power. And an example here, Uber's new site, I know they did a lot of updates recently, looks beautiful and is very clear on what the product does. And here's an example. You can scroll over, kind of like the experience inside of the app. So I think it's brilliant. And they tell you all the different options. So Uber is for everybody, and it's, get a ride that matches your style and budget. Notice all of these designs that I'm sharing with you, minus the Zappos, because I just wanted to show you the free shipping and free shipping and returning. All these designs are simple. They have a simple, clear headline. They have a sub-headline. They direct your eyes so you know exactly what you're looking at. Our goal is to make it as clear as possible of what the message is for each page. So if you have too many things going on the page and your eyes are wandering everywhere, that means there's not enough contrast, and you have to adjust the design and try to figure out what is the most important information on the page. In this case, choice is a beautiful thing. They consider, I would say that one is pretty important, and then the car is very important. So these, oops, here we go. The way that they visually arrange information for the user to process is very, very easy to understand. And that's our goal as designers, not even just designers, project managers, directing designers, learning how to communicate with the designer, understanding like Gestalt principles and learning about contrast, which is usually most design problems are relating to contrast. There's not, if you don't understand what something is or what you're supposed to be doing on a page, it's because everything looks like it's at the same level. So you have to pull out the most important information and create some kind of visual hierarchy, bold weighting, and figure out what it is exactly, like what do you want them to do on this page. And we could talk about that more in the questions and answers. Now moving, one more personality type before we go into the questions and answers. Stubborn or pre-decided type of personality that makes a decision in an irrational way. They just won't budge, and it's really tricky to try to communicate, persuade them. But that's why we're going to teach you, or I'm going to teach you. Preconceptions are misplaced, difficult to convince. They've already established their decision in advance. They're very attached to their beliefs, and as we said, it's a stubborn personality trait. They form an opinion without adequate evidence. How are we going to get them to listen? Well, somebody who's pre-decided, you have to kind of associate with quality, and you just align your brand quality up to a certain level, and you don't say it to them, you just kind of influence everybody around them, and that will influence them. And a good way to do that is Envision app. They have their marketing page. They have some testimonials when you hover over each brand that uses Envision app or has used it. They give a testimonial of how kick-ass this product is. That's convincing. All these companies, Shopify, Adobe, Airbnb, they're using Envision. I should try it because I trust these companies are good, reliable, have reliable products that I use regularly. Using facts helps as well. So, example, Airbnb, they give you all the facts and the data. 9 million guests, 34,000 cities, 600 plus castles. I keep saying this every time I see this. I want to go stay in a castle at some point. but that's interesting. 500,000 plus listings worldwide. There's some trust in there for them to have that many numbers. Making it elite, make it feel like they're part of the in crowd. If you spend $1,000 per year, then you get a premium membership. Reward them. VIP. And never ever appear desperate. So Wikipedia, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. Wikipedia, we could try and explain maybe some other ways to convince us how to donate to them, because they're an excellent resource for learning. I've learned so much from Wikipedia, but it's not like, please, will you give me money, please? I don't know what else to do. It's more like, let's blur out the pages and say, imagine a world without Wikipedia. You would be sad too. Do you want to help us keep it going? Give us, donate this. It's just, there's more graceful ways to convince people than to appear desperate. Use testimonials to build trust. We touched on this briefly. All these different logos. You have Mashable, CBS, MTV. This is giving testimonials about the Fitbit. It's convincing. And social influence and the rating system kicks butt for convincing people. If 107 people are rating a product 5 stars, then chances are it must be a pretty good product. Always convince their friends first. Example, I used my event coming up just to try to remind you guys on November 19th. But if 16 of my friends are attending this event, even though I'm hosting it, if it was somebody else's event, I'd want to go because that's social influence. So it's like, if you can persuade their friends, then it will likely get their attention and maybe persuade them. But you have a much better chance by going to their friends instead of going directly to them for the stubborn personality. Bandwagon effect. If there's 6,645 followers that are looking at this HalloweenCostumes.com pin page, I'm likely going to follow them because there must be something good on there. And as we spoke about before, testimonials. 2,411 people are saying that this is a great class. So that sounds like either they paid 2,411 people to rate 5 stars, or it's actually a great class. And I would give it a chance. Almost done here. Authority. Shaquille O'Neal talks about the Fitbit, and when you cover properties giving their using the Fitbit, so they're endorsing it. So it's like, oh, well, if they use it, then I guess it's okay. And the biggest thing for all of this is to understand that people's time is precious. Thank you guys, by the way, for taking your time to listen to this talk. What I love about Medium here is that they tell you a preview of how many minutes, based on like the average reader, it will take to read through the article. So it feels like you're not having your time wasted because they're upfront about what the amount of time is, the amount of time that's going to take to read this particular presentation. Always present what you're saying with facts, respect, and dignity. And this goes for not just designing. This goes for communicating with people and to have more confidence and to get people to believe you, to persuade them. Deliver everything in small portions, bite size. You want to taste, you want to understand each flavor, just like tapas style. A little bit of this and a little bit of that, but not overwhelming, not the whole entire dish. Whatever you say is never going to be the right thing to say with a skeptic or impatient or stubborn person. So just hold your confidence and don't worry about what they're thinking. Know that you're the best you can to try and communicate with them. And one of the biggest things is to understand your competition. And just real quickly, we have 2 key influencers for persuasive design. Do you want to look more into those? Abraham Maslow, known for creating the hierarchy of needs, and I'm sure you guys, probably a lot of you guys might have seen this before. It shows you the different charts of what's important to us as humans: self-actualization, esteem, love and belonging, safety, physiological needs, just basic human needs. And a man by the name of B.J. Fogg, who's a persuasive, he works at Stanford University and has an entire program dedicated to persuasive technology and persuasive design. This is a cool site to check out, Behavior Wizard. You can go to the site behaviorwizard.org, and they say if you want to increase a behavior or decrease a behavior, and it will give you like a step-by-step kind of little guide of how to make the change in behavior. So, and that's developed also by Mr. B.J. Fogg. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questions. And thank you guys so much for listening. Stop screen sharing so you can see my face now. Hello. Okay, so now we can go ahead and take some questions. Oh, thank you, Laura. That's really sweet. I just want to emoticon. So if you guys want to turn on, first of all, since either the first person to write, I have a question on the chat thing, we'll get the question answered. Do it. Ready, fight. Okay, Ron, do you want to turn your mic on?
Yeah, I'll turn it on. Hi. So, can you hear me?
Hi, how's it going?
Good,
yes.
Good. Thanks for your presentation. Really appreciate it. So you mentioned a bunch of user types, but obviously when you're designing something, you want to focus on probably one user type. Is there a way to figure out the best user type for your product and then design for that individual? Like what sort of techniques do you like to do?
Oh, that's an awesome question, because really this is a difference. It's not necessarily like this isn't your persona. What we're talking about here, we're talking about traits of character. Like we have a user type or persona, which is like I am, early 30s female. I like to listen to a lot of music, and I like a certain look and feel aesthetic. Like that's a user. Like that's a persona. What we're talking about more is like the actual habits and personality. Like I'm impatient, I'm stubborn. So you want to consider all of these when you're designing, and also understand who your audience is, which is give you an example. If I like a certain kind of music or very very specific daily habits, that's more of what the persona is. Okay, so this is just go ahead.
So you would recommend obviously figure out your persona first, and then these are traits to think in terms of the persona, and then build your site appropriately to kind of adjust for that.
These are traits that you should consider when you're designing for communicating a message very quickly. Regardless of what you're actually designing, that would be whatever your product is. That would cater to the persona or to the end user. But these are basically techniques to capture anybody's attention and keep their attention and try to get them a message very quickly.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, anybody else?
Hi, Andy. So,
hi.
In your presentation, you referenced choice a bit, and I've been quite interested for a while now in what's come to be known as choice overload. And I was wondering if you have any thoughts on effective ways of helping people deal with that problem in design.
Well, okay. So first of all, who are the people that you're trying to present choices to?
So at this point, I'm just thinking in general users. I don't have
Exactly. So a really good example of you want to be able to narrow it down and keep it as simple as possible to present them with the right choices. So there's a couple ways that I've seen this done. One is Shoe Dazzle. I don't know if they still do this, but they get like a profile of what kind of taste that you like. They're like, do you like? And it's harder for me to say this because I'm a girl shopping and all that. I don't know if everybody can relate, but they're like, do you like this shoe or do you like this shoe? And they get to know what your taste is. Or Netflix example, Netflix does the taste profile and allows you to rate movies, and they get to know who you are, and then they present you with choices that are conditional and narrowed down. And it's even the same thing for Pandora. You do. Even I don't really use Pandora, maybe songs that are whatever, but thumbs up, thumbs down. You get that data, so if everybody's pressing thumbs down, then they know not to play that anymore, and that's not a choice. So it's just like you customize the experience so the user, you get to know who they are, and then the choices become more intellectual and smarter.
So partly.
So I would say that's one.
I was just going to say, part of what you're saying makes me think of collaborative filtering, like sites like Amazon use that. I don't know if Netflix uses it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, no, they use like the taste profile where they let you rate movies and then they give you suggestions based on that. That's one thing. The other thing is if you have to think about like giving somebody a lot of choices, use common sense a lot of the times. Like, I love user research. I can't even go into a product or go into a design or anything without doing tons of research and reading and like making sure that I'm fully knowledged on, like educated on what are the options, and then narrowing everything down. So common sense is a big part of it, but always do a lot of research before and make sure that you're educated so you know all the different possibilities. Hopefully that helps.
Thanks.
Thanks. If you want to send me like a specific example, please do. So you can tweet or whatever. Anyone else? Questions? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody else have any questions? No? Yes? Okay, well, I guess I hand it over. Did you have any questions, David?
Well, I thought it was a really interesting presentation, and I particularly loved the examples that you shared, because while it may not address everybody's product management needs, I think there are a lot of insights there that that we can take away and apply in how we look at products and how we work with teams and talking about products. But to answer your question, no particular question. So if no one else has a question, then I think we're doing pretty well on time. Any last questions from the crowd? Okay.
I can ask another question. This is Ron here.
Sure.
If that's okay. Andy, is it okay?
Please.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you have examples of when people overdid this, because these techniques are obviously very emotional and they kind of grab you by the horns. That's great. But do you have examples of like when people overdid it and it's like, whoa, that's a bit too much of this stuff?
Hey guys, I just got disconnected. I don't know why it's showing two of me, but I missed a little bit. I missed, David, what you had said because my computer got disconnected.
That's okay, Andy. We were trying to wrap it up. And then Ron raised a question. Just repeat for you. He asked whether you had seen examples of people overdoing this type of analysis. Ron, do you want to restate?
Yeah,
yes.
I can just re-ask. So, figured I'd ask another question because I was curious. Andy, have you seen people kind of overdo this method? Because obviously, like, this stuff is very emotional. It's like, I'd just be curious if you saw like use that just overdo it and you feel like that's a bit too much.
I've seen it. You guys have seen it. Infomercials. Wait, there's more. Act now for $5.99.99, $15.99.99. No shipping and handling. Oh my gosh, this offer is going to expire in 5 minutes. Like everything is urgency, and it's overdone, but it's that's part of the excitement for an infomercial. As somebody who comes from a marketing and advertising background, I believe that the reason that Cascade SF does well and that our events do well is because rather than like forcing it even down people's throat, we're awesome. We show them that we're awesome by delivering a quality brand, and I think that's more persuasive than anything. Is consistently delivering quality, being reliable, then other people will endorse you too. But infomercials, a lot of marketing hard sells, that's because they don't know any other way to get your attention. They don't associate themselves with quality, so they're just trying to get you to be impulsive and act very quickly. So I think so that's it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So before you, just a quick follow-up on that is, before you build a brand, I mean, obviously if you have a brand component to it, then you can gain your credibility quickly. You don't have to resort to some of these sort of techniques. We're all building products from the ground up, and so we probably don't have that sort of brand recognition yet. Are there things you can do to kind of get to that point so you can avoid having to do the infomercial and there's more sort of approach?
But wait, there's more. Actually, what I think is that if you consistently deliver quality and you create good design is really important because that's going to build trust. It's going to show that you guys have taste, that you have aesthetic, that you can be trusted. People want to be able to trust you. So it's eventually, I've been throwing these events for, 5 years or so, always on the side while I was designing, and then the past year it's been full-time. But it didn't happen overnight. It was just like me being very particular and true to myself about what I wanted it to be, and being very particular and knowing what your brand is, identifying your brand and sticking to your guns no matter what, only associating your product or endorsing products that you believe in. Just be very true to that and be authentic, and I believe that will shine more than anything else. And that naturally, if it's not good, and you're actually, what's funny is I gave this persuasive design talk for my own event like a month ago, and it was not as good, so I went home and rewrote it so it's stronger, and always keep going to make it better based on the feedback. Don't be afraid to get feedback, because the feedback is what's going to they're going to guide you in the direction to be successful. Too many people are get defensive about feedback, and that's actually the worst enemy, is to ignore what other people are saying and what the competition is. If we know it very clearly, then we can adjust our own, your designs, your approach to communicating, and make it, and be able to cover all areas.
Cool. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for your time. Ron, it sounds like you're still perhaps seeking what customer success looks like, perhaps even looking for the customer market fit, perhaps.
No, I'm just curious. I work at an established startup, and we have a customer base right now. But I'm just curious, as I'm thinking about new opportunities and as I talk to people. So that's why I kind of asked this.
Yeah, if you want to chat around, I mean, I don't know how long this hangout is. But what do you mean by customer success? To customer satisfaction, a good customer service experience? What is it that you're specifically curious about?
I guess more in terms of I guess more in terms of customer satisfaction, if anything else.
Okay, so another way to, it's really tough, especially I understand this because if I throw an event, and then this is how I can relate because of my job, but I throw an event and I'm like, hey guys, can you guys give us feedback so we know how to get better and how to improve? Maybe I don't know, what kind of startup or what kind of product are you guys selling? Are you allowed to say that, or is it?
I just keep that to myself for now.
Okay. Okay. So say that it was an e-commerce product, or there was some kind of gift or something that you can give them for filling out a survey. Not a lot of people, their time is too valuable to do that, but some kind of incentive that will motivate more people to give you feedback so you actually know what's working, what doesn't work. Always bring in user studies. You can do like user testing one-on-one and just kind of get an idea of how the user's perception of the product is. But in terms of like customer service, you want to make sure that you're listening really well to what people are saying about your product, and then taking that input and adjusting your product to be better and to make them happy, because they come first. Your product would not exist without your customer.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, and user voice. I know like they have Get Satisfaction, user voice. Those, if a lot of customers are addressing the same thing, then pay attention to what they're addressing, and then take some action.
Yeah.
Make it change.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I think building on, I'll just add one comment if that's okay, and then wrap up the call. Building on the question that Ron raised earlier and what we were just talking about, I think one useful technique is to gather the if you will, kind of the variables that are very important for your users, and kind of map them on an axis, like a 2x2 axis, x-axis and y-axis. And it'll give you a sense of kind of the quadrants. So let's say, for instance, one axis could be economic axis. So what are your pricing points? Is it a luxury product versus a commodity product? Another axis could be experiential. I mean, however you do it, as a product manager, for instance, you'll have different ways of gathering that data, whether by directly observing or talking to users, or using surveys, or outside research, or competitor data. You know, you can gather that axis and kind of map out what that dimension looks like, and then you can begin to see where your sort of persona might be, or the character attributes that are important to your users might be. And you can also use that 2x2 mapping to even map out different products that exists, and how well they map into those 4 quadrants, and where your current product might be, and then you can get a sense kind of strategically. So having said that,
Wait, I have a question though. Hold on. If you guys do want to know what a persona is, by the way, you should. There was I interviewed Alan Cooper, who is creator of Visual Basic, who actually created personas for user experience. Like, he developed the concept of it. This video is online, and I will tweet it out in just a minute. But it will tell you exactly what a persona is and what it is not. And I actually, David, it would be really cool to see a worksheet or a chart, or rather, you know, like a visual example, because what you're describing, and I'd like to see it in a visual example.
Sure. I can post that to this event as well. And really appreciate your time. Once again, in the interest time, we'll wrap up this call, but it was a good learning experience. And thank you, and thanks to everybody else for also calling in and joining.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
All right, have a good day. Bye.